working out here in the shop today on Dig Dug, and I want to get the bed put back onto the frame. But while it's off, there's a whole bunch of welding that I need to do in here because it'll just be easier to get to it. There's a bunch of holes I need to patch up. I need to reinforce the frame in a couple spots, and I might even move the upper link location on the frame up a notch. So I'm going to get to work on that, and then we can get to work on the bed. There were lots of rivets cut out of the frame right in here, so I'm going to build reinforcement panels to cover all this up. Check out this cool thing right here that Mario sent me. I don't have an address or an email to send you a thank you card, Mario, so thank you. I'm ready to weld in all these reinforcement plates now. I'm gonna weld all the way around the perimeter, and then I'll weld through the backside through the holes like a rosette weld, and it'll make it even stronger. I feel a lot better about this. This area was kind of a weak spot with all those holes in it, and now it's gonna be super strong with those reinforcements, and when I put the bed on, it'll be even stronger. I've had people asking me why aren't I boxing the inside of the seat channel, and that's because I don't need to. The bed creates this way bigger structure that's gonna make it super strong, and boxing this would just be overkill. In the front, where there is no bed, that I'm gonna do some boxing to definitely beef that up a little bit. I'm also gonna be adding a cross member in there. So these next pieces that I wanna put in are gonna be out of 3/16 plate, and I've got a sheet of that sitting on the plasma cutter. So I just drew up some rectangles really quick, and I'm gonna go cut those out. These plates that I just made, they're gonna go right down in here, right in there. They're gonna weld to this cab mount for the frame, and they'll be really strong, and they'll give me something to weld these upper links to. I don't like where they're at right now. They were just tacked in while I thought about where they should go, and they're going up. So I'm gonna get that little pocket all cleaned up so I can weld these in. I've got this area all prepped for welding. I've even got a hole drill in my plate now so I can rosette weld into the cab mount. So I can stick these right in here, and that should lock everything together and make it super strong. So this link is gonna go right up here into this. I already put little notches in the tack welds so that I can hammer this thing loose and move it up into here. We'll do that after it cools. I'm gonna cut this right along that line and then tuck it back right in here. That was a lot of steel to chop through, but the saw did it. It just ate right through that. So I'm gonna go test fit this back in the truck. It fits down in there pretty good, but with a little bit of grinding, it'll fit even better. This piece is all painted up and ready to weld back in here. And it's mostly gonna be loaded in compression. It's gonna be trying to push into the frame. But I'm still gonna go all the way around and weld every spot that I can so it's in there nice and solid. It's gonna fit right in like this. All right, this one's all welded in and I let it cool off because I want to put this link back together before I take the other side apart so nothing shifts around on me. But once I do that, I'll weld this one up the exact same way. It's early in the morning and I've got some friends that came to town from Arizona and they wanted to go on a little ride, and Dig Dug's not running and the XJ's not ready for this. So I borrowed a Jeep. This is it's Matt Flanders' vehicle. And they're following behind me. Those guys are in a Ford Raptor. They've never been to Sand Hollow. They've never done this kind of off-roading. And so we're gonna take them out and have a little fun this morning and go check out a couple things over here. Maybe we'll take them up the chute. I don't know, but we'll have a good time and I'll bring you along and show you what we're up to. Beautiful morning. The days have been really hot, but mornings have started to cool off. So this is the perfect time of day to get out. We're out here airing down our tires really quick. I'm actually airing up the back tire because it had like 4 PSI in it. And when I hook all the tires together, the front tires fill the back. And I'll set them all at 10 PSI using my Easy Flate. Love this thing. All right, that's right where we want to be. You guys are looking good.
We're ready.
All right. I'm using Onyx today on our trail ride. It's helpful because there's just a maze of trails out here and they're mapped out really well in Onyx. I also like using it because it keeps me on just the right level of trail for that Ford Raptor behind me. They don't want to tear the fenders off that thing. So Onyx is great because it gives us all kinds of trail information so we can be safe out here and have a good time. The green trails are the easiest, the blue trails are a little bit harder, and those are the trails we're sticking to today. Sand Hollow is an off-road park, so you're allowed to drive anywhere out here, but it is really nice to have the trail information that helps to navigate and also tells you something about the difficulty of the trail. Remember, you can use code TOMTOM for 20% off your first year membership. You can also use the link in my description and it'll apply the discount code automatically. All right, we took a little break. We're up here by the chute. We're just checking out this beautiful morning, and I think we're gonna go run up the chute really quick in the Gladiator. Jack, was that your first time driving?
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome, man. This is a cool first driving story.
Yeah, thanks.
You're gonna have a great story for the rest of your life. You can be like, yeah, I learned to drive out on the sand dunes at Sand Hollow.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna go run up this really quick. It's so far away, it looks little. That's our air compressor. Nothing to worry about. See that? It's a pretty good climb, huh?
Really steep.
We could get the Raptor in here.
No way. I'd come out with a couple less fenders.
This is crazy. This is awesome.
All right, we're coming up over the top. Here we are. See this thing in front of us? That's actually a really gnarly climb. I've seen Rudy work on that thing for like a half hour with the Rudicon, just trying to get over that. We're not gonna do that today, but there's really cool, fun stuff all around us. We made it up here to the top of the world. I think this is by far the most off-roading this Raptor has ever done. Do you agree, Wes?
I 100% agree.
this way. You're good? There you go. Okay, perfect. Slow, really slow, really slow. That's your trailer hitch, really slow. That was awesome. You guys did great.
That was amazing.
Good job,
that was
guys.
amazing.
You barely touched right here.
No, that's not bad.
Then you started pulling up.
That's not bad.
No, not bad at all.
Oh, you guys, that was awesome. First timer.
So if you ever see this guy driving around Arizona and he's hopping curbs and drifting, that's because he learned to drive in Sand Hollow.
Tom School of Driving.
And I'm not a great teacher. So do you see this guy? We're in the water tanks parking lot now, so I'm gonna go return this Jeep and I will see you back in the shop. I'm finally starting to work on the bed, which is the part that I've been the most excited about. I made this bed like 12 years ago, and it was made for 35-inch tires, and I marked it out for these 40-inch tires and did some rough cutting a while back. Last week, Peyton got in here and was doing some of the grinding and removing of the angle iron. I've got a little bit more of that I need to do. Then I can start cleaning up these edges and putting it back together. I'm gonna start right here, trying to get this fender cleaned up to this cut line that I made a few weeks back. I've got that fender well trimmed out pretty close. I'm gonna do a little fine tuning with those new discs that came in the other night. They're kind of aggressive. I know that seems backwards, like why would you do the fine tuning with an aggressive disc? And I like it because I don't have to put as much pressure on it and I can just get really close. These are the discs that came in the other night. I think that's German for horse. I think it's pronounced Pferd, but I'm an American, so I should just pronounce it Ferd. Like, I got a new Ferd truck, it's a Power Stroke. So we're gonna give those a try, get this dialed in, and then I'm just gonna keep working my way all the way around this bed. I've got these wheel wells cleaned out right to the line now, and I've got the back all cleaned up. So it's time to get the trim work, the tubing that's gonna go in here and trim out this wheel well and start putting that back in. Right here, I'm gonna be trimming this out, and I'm gonna use 2x1 tubing instead of 2x2 because I want the most wheel travel possible, and that'll give me 1 extra inch. So I cut up enough of these for both sides, and they're gonna fit in here like this. But before I put them in, I wanna cap off the bottoms because I don't wanna leave those open. All right, these pieces are almost ready to go in, but they need to get trimmed up. I need to get them just the right length. So I'm just gonna kind of hold them in here. They'll get miter cuts, so their actual cut's gonna be, you know, something in between, like 22.5 degrees. Same thing on this one on the back end. Before I weld this in, I want to clean up the paint just a little bit all the way around so I get a good strong weld. And once I get these both welded up, I can then measure the middle piece and figure out what that one's going to look like. I'm just going to tack these in right now until I get the last piece figured out. And when that one's tacked in and I'm sure everything's going to work, then I'll weld it all up. Okay, that looks pretty close. I'm gonna go ahead and tack that in. I'm marking up these pieces just like we did on the other side, so we can do the exact same thing. Just like on the other side, I'm lining this up so I can tack it in place, and from there I can build that top piece. This looks like we're coming out of 22 5/8, which is exactly what we were on the other side. So that's a good sign. It took a little trimming, but I got this top piece fitting in here pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and tack it in, and then if the whole thing's looking good and straight, I'll just weld it all up. There's a lot of welding to do in here, and I like to just bounce from one side to the other, so whatever warping is going on, you kind of counteract it a little bit by hitting the other side. So I did this side, then this side. I bounced down to this end over here, and now I'm gonna flip around to this side. I'll come back and get the middle section. In the middle here, I like to tack it a whole bunch along the way, because that has a tendency to warp while it's getting hot, and so these little panels can twist on you. So I tack them in a few spots to try to keep them in place. There's a lot of little strategies there, and sometimes you just gotta live with what you get. This has got me thinking about some of the comments I see about vertical down welding. There's comments that say you should never do that, never weld vertical down. And on this thinner material, like 1/4 inch and thinner, you get good penetration, the welds look great. I have no problem with vertical down. I think it makes a lot of sense. If you get into thicker stuff, and I think that's where the complaint comes from, because in school they're often teaching you on big heavy material that you're getting certified on. Yes, vertical up makes sense. You can stack big heavy welds in there, and that makes sense. On this stuff, this isn't even vertical down, it's more like downhill. Vertical down, downhill welding is great. I feel like when you weld the second side, sometimes they turn out better just because you've cooked out all the impurities when you welded the other side. So these long welds went pretty good. They are not necessary. This is kind of just for me for fun, and I like doing it, and it's good practice, and I think it looks cool. I could just stitch weld in here and that would be plenty strong enough. I'm almost done with these wheel welds, but right here, this piece came out like 1/8 of an inch short. I don't know how. So I cheated it up to the top, and I cut out this little tab here, and I'm just gonna weld it in on the bottom, and then you and me are the only people that will ever know. These are all welded up now. So I love when things start to come together and I can visualize it. These are looking good. And it's ready to go back. This bed is ready to go back onto the frame of the truck. I was thinking about scrubbing this down and cleaning it all up, but I think it's just gonna get sandblasted at Resurgence Automotive. So that'll take off all these burn marks and strip that down to raw steel before it gets painted. So I gotta figure out how to roll this truck because I need to use the lift to pick up the bed and set it back on. So I'm gonna work on the truck for a little bit, figure out how to get it moving again, and then we can start putting this back together. All right, my bed's not exactly lining up with the frame. It's a little ski-wampus. So I'm gonna use some jacks, shuffle things around, then I should be able to drop it right where it needs to be. All right, the bed's lowered on. It's getting really close. And I dug out this old bag of bolts, all the bed bolts that I used before. And I'm gonna put some of them back in where I can. Some of them, the things have been removed that they would attach to where they're blocked now. So I know I'm welding it on, but it won't hurt to do both. These are going in. There's a pocket back up in here that fits into. All right, this bed is on. It took some hammering and some pounding and some pulling it with clamps, but it finally dropped into place and I've got a couple of bolts in it. And now I just want to admire it for a minute because it's all starting to come together. I'm gonna go around now and just weld down everything that I can. I never want this bed to come off again. So anywhere that I can get to, any connection between the bed and the frame, I'm gonna lay a big fat bead. I did a lot of welding on this bed, so it's attached really good, and it's really strong, and it's gonna help reinforce the frame and make the whole truck stronger. I'm also gonna tie the roll cage to the inside roll cage in the cab. That'll strengthen it up a lot too. Right now I wanna roll it back. I wanna get it back here so I can take a look at it and just see what we've got and start planning out all the stuff that needs to happen next week. This is great timing because Angela just got here so I can show her what I've been working on. Check it out, this is it, the bed is on.
Oh my goodness. Looks way different than last time I was here because the bed was on the table.
Like I said, it's starting to come together.
Thanks for watching.
I'm gonna take off and go check out the Trail Hero vendor show going on at Sand Hollow. All right, I'm just stopping in at a couple of my favorite brews. This is American Iron. These guys made the ball joint deletes that we put into Dig Dug and the huge knuckles that we put on the banana. Super cool stuff here. You'll be seeing more of this on my rigs in the future.